It's the Iron Bowl, baby. You throw logic out the window. You expect weird things to happen. You invite chaos into your life. We do it every rivalry weekend in the world of college football. However, when the game is played in Jordan-Hare, when you got the folks on the plains going a little bit crazy in Alabama now, trying to punch their ticket to the college football playoff, if you win, you're in. If you lose, you're out, and your rival's the one that kicks you out, wouldn't that just be the sweetest thing for the good folks out there in Auburn, Alabama? Let's unpack this together. Before we do that, though, make sure you are subscribed. All right, Rivalry Weekend is here. This is our time as college football sickos to really come together and celebrate the sport. So if you haven't already subscribed, now is the time to get that done, and we appreciate you in advance for locking in with us and being about that life. All right, a couple of thoughts on this game. Something weird, like I just said, is going to happen in this game. Let me say it again. Something weird in this game is going to happen. Why? Because it always happens when this game is played in Jordan-Hare. You have the kick six, you got the Gravedigger, you got Brian Harsin almost beating Bryce Young. Disclaimer, I understand it doesn't have to be at Jordan-Hare for weird things to happen. I'm just saying a lot of the time, weird things especially happen when the game is played at Auburn. So if you're Auburn, like I just said, you got a chance to knock your rival out of the college football playoff. Don't you think that would just be the Christmas gift of all Christmas gifts for the folks out there on the plains? After you had to bench your starting quarterback, you got a new interim head coach in DJ Durkin. After you had to fire Hugh Freeze, everyone's talking about what you're going to lose through the portal, this, that, and the other. How awesome would that be for Auburn to have this to hang on to heading out of the regular season? I think it'd be something they would love to get done. Now, for Alabama, you're just trying to punch your ticket. You don't care who it is. The fact that it's Auburn makes it a touch more personal and intense, but you don't care who it is. You got business to handle. Can Kalen DeBoer and the boys rise above all that and find a way to get it done and become a college football playoff team his second year out there? Because if they lose this game, dude, you go 9-3 for the second year in a row, bad vibes doesn't even begin to qualify what it would be in Tuscaloosa. It would be like horrific vibes. It would be doomsday vibes, apocalyptic vibes, all that. So needless to say, the pressure is on for the good folks in T-Town making the trip out to Jordan-Hare. For Auburn, strengths for you as a roster have to be your strengths in this game. Have to be. Like, there is not a world where you walk out of that game and say, should we have involved Cam Coleman more maybe? Dude, he's a freak show. He's a bionicle. He's an Avenger. Get him the football as much as humanly possible. I understand Bama's got a good secondary. Okay, great players elevate above those matchups. So you got to find a way to force feed him the football, Eric Singleton the football, Malcolm Simmons the football, coming off of a huge day against Mercer. You got to find a way to make the strengths of your roster evident in this game. They got to show up some way, somehow. You're not beating Bama left-handed. Now, weird things happen, so maybe that's the end-all, be-all, is it's just like, hey, it was a weird day, didn't make sense, Auburn found a way to get it done. Maybe that happens, I don't know. But if we're breaking this thing down from a logic perspective ahead of this game, you'd like to believe now that they found a way to involve their receivers and have them have their most impactful game of the year in this spot to get a win over Alabama. Also should be mentioned for Auburn, maybe the quarterback position hasn't been the most stable for you all year long, provided the most warm and fuzzy vibes consistently week in and week out. But don't look now, the profile of your quarterback room actually is exactly the kind of quarterback that has given Kalen DeBoer issues. I'll list them off a little bit. The kind of quarterbacks, the specific quarterbacks rather, that have beaten Kalen DeBoer since he got the job in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Diego Pavia, John Mateer, Thomas Castellanos, Nico Iamaleava, Jackson Arnold, who's actually on your roster now, so maybe you let him spin a little bit. I don't know. The thing I'm trying to say here is the common denominator with all those guys, design quarterback run game, can ad-lib a little bit, they're all mobile. For whatever reason, Ken Womack and Kalen DeBoer have had trouble with a quarterback in that profile. Isn't that Deuce Knight? Isn't that Ashton Daniels? It's definitely Jackson Arnold. He's already beaten Kalen DeBoer one time in his career as a guy at Oklahoma. Now, we'll see what they do when it comes to rotation and all that, but Ashton Daniels, assuming he's your guy in this game, if that's the case, he has all of those qualifications based on what I just told you those other quarterbacks have done to beat a Kalen DeBoer football team. So that's the Auburn side of this. You're an Alabama fan, you're like, okay, JD, you're going to pick us to lose right now? I'm not breaking that down that intently. I'm just saying for Auburn, that's kind of your path. Those are your angles. For Alabama, you cannot be two-dimensional in this spot, or you have to be two-dimensional, right? You cannot be one-dimensional in this spot, is my point. The Auburn defense is too good to where if you roll out there and you only have one pitch, they can make your life difficult. Okay, so you'd like to believe here for Alabama, you can find a way to manufacture something on the ground. I understand the Oklahoma loss sucked, but Daniel Hill coming out of that game averaged 4 yards a carry in that spot. Now, it wasn't like you dominated the ground. It's obviously a big reason why Alabama lost that football game, but, well, the biggest reason is they turned the football over, beside the point. But I wonder a little bit, was that a seed that could grow a little bit and flourish maybe in this spot? You'd hope so. You'd really hope so. Auburn defensively giving up 2.7 yards a carry. That's top 5 in college football. If you can get a little bit of something on the ground, big 240-pound Daniel Hill coming downhill at you, maybe, just maybe, safety's got to roll down, bigger plays open up downfield, the party is on and popping on the Tuscaloosa side of things, on the Alabama sideline. That would be a world you would like to live in, as you get something chewing on the ground, Alabama, and you just keep this Auburn defense a little bit on their heels, or even more realistically, a little bit honest. That's the biggest part of this. Can you make Auburn play you honest, I guess is the part that you speak to when it comes to their ability to apply pressure and be deceptive and all those things. Because if I'm Bama now, I expect Ryan Grubb and those guys to go for the jugular early. I want to know why? Because it would turn the volume down on everything about this game that would make you a touch nervous. I just told you, could get weird. Well, it's hard for things to get weird when you're up 17-0, right? Well, hey, Alabama, Auburn's front seven's pretty good, and the ability to stop the run's pretty strong. Okay, well, what about when we're up 24-3 at half? What about when Ty Simpson's got 200 yards in the first half through the air? What about when we've got 3 explosive plays through the air? What about the crowd noise, all that? Well, they're not really making much noise when we're up 10-0 in the first quarter, right? Just it turns down the volume of everything. Also, let's call a spade here. Auburn will come out with a ton of juice, a ton of energy. It's a rivalry game. They hate Alabama. It's a beautiful part about this whole thing. However, how much juice do you have if you're down 2 scores at the break, 3 scores at the break? Your head coach is fired. Who knows who's playing quarterback at this point? How much willpower do you have to really scratch and claw and fight your way back in? Again, Auburn is not great against the pass. They are number 99 in all of college football when it comes to yards per pass allowed. So there's potential for the Jeremy Bernard show to get rolling, Ryan Williams to get right, maybe Cuevas makes his presence felt. I don't know, but I'm just saying Alabama has the potential to go right at Auburn early, and if Auburn cannot weather that first blow, could get very uncomfortable for the folks that are in attendance in Jordan-Hare. So I can't wait for this one. Again, I'm breaking this down right now, but at the end of the day, you kind of throw logic out the window whenever the Iron Bowl is being played, and that is what is so beautiful about college football. All right, so appreciate y'all being dialed in. Alabama fans, Auburn fans, give me a score prediction in the comment section. Looking forward to hearing from y'all in there. Cato on the ones and twos, myself and JD PicKell, we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We're going to keep this party rolling. We will see y'all next time.